Innovation Rockstars. Innovation Rockstars.
In this episode, we welcome Dr. Eva Mitterreiter, Head of Innovation and New Business Building, Consulting at Bosch, and Jennifer Graf, Partner at digetiers.
Hi, and welcome back to Innovation Rockstars. My name is Chris Mühlroth, and in this episode, I'm excited to welcome two guests. Dr. Eva Mitterreiter, Head of New Business Building and Innovation, Consulting at Bosch, and Jennifer Graf, Partner at digetiers. So, in another episode with Manuel Kraus, we talked about organizational ambidexterity and how business model innovations are created, launched, and scaled at Bosch. And in this episode, we will dive into the genesis of all of this. So I'm really excited. This is an exciting topic. Thanks to both of you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. So as always, let's kick things off with a 60 seconds introduction sprint of both of you. So the sprint is all about you, your career, and your current role. And we start with Eva, then Jennifer is next. So Eva, for the next 60 seconds, the stage is all yours. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Eva. I'm a business model innovation specialist and enthusiast at Bosch. I started there around 8 years ago with a PhD in business model innovation. And then I built up the central department of BMI, so business model innovation, with some very engaging colleagues of mine. And we kind of brought new business models into the organization. So we did this via a Business Model Academy, via our Bosch Accelerator program, from what Manuel, I'm sure, told you a little bit about, where we test and validate a lot of ideas. And we also do hands-on BMI consulting. I, for my part, did around 150 to 200 startups, coaching and supporting. And now I'm in a business unit at the Bosch Engineering. And I do transformation and business model consulting together with Jennifer, for example, from the digetiers. And yeah, privately, I am calling from Nuremberg. I am renovating a house there. So next big project.
Many big projects. All right. Sounds great. Thanks. Jennifer, now this stage is yours. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Sam Hai from Munich, and as you said, I'm a partner at digetiers, and digetiers, you may not know it, it's quite new on the market since 2 years. It's a digital transformation and management consultancy. And with my passion for people and innovation, I support many different clients, mostly industry clients, to succeed in this new digital era. And we do it from strategy to implementing and developing digital products and services. And what did I do before? Some years ago, I started at a small foresight company. I think that's where my passion for innovative topics grew. And afterwards, I was strategy consultant at IBM, also pushing innovative topics at diverse clients, always in the intersection between IT and business. I did, for example, I created a innovation lab incubator for a client, did different digital business models, and implemented also digital services and products.
Thanks. All right. Great story. Okay. So next thing, here are 2 sentence starters for each of you. And I would like to ask you to complete those sentences. And we will start with Jennifer. The next big wave in innovation will be...
I think collaborative ecosystems and partnerships. And we will dive into that topic today.
Okay, perfect. All right, Eva, the next one is for you. I work in consulting because...
Because I love supporting our customers and bringing them forward by sharing our knowledge that we collected, but also our lessons learned from the last years.
Brilliant. All right. And Jennifer, any organization needs an operating system because...
Because as a good football game or any other game, also companies need some playbook to be able to operate and to play the game.
Very cool. Play the game. All right. And finally, Eva, the impact of artificial intelligence on building new businesses probably will be
huge, radical, disruptive.
Huge, radical, and disruptive. Brilliant. All right. So, okay, let's talk consulting and zoom out first a bit. to talk about consulting. So be it internal or external consulting. Now, my feeling is that consulting as a term and the offering itself has quite a polarizing effect. For some, consulting still appears to be very expensive, highly competitive, human resource intensive. You get the notion. And as an outcome, you will receive some PowerPoint slides. You work from Monday to Thursday, and on Friday, you do all the PMO tasks. You probably know all of that saying, right? So my question is the consulting business actually still like that, or is it changing? And if so, where is the innovation in consulting?
I think, yes, it is changing, and it needs to change actually, because I think from different point of views. And I think the first one is, as you said, like back in the days or also the last years, it was like that you work a lot of hours, like 24 hours a day. And I think that's changing. That's the first thing, that the new generations, are not willing to do that anymore, because they have a higher focus on work-life balance and want to do other things than just work. And also maybe the values change as well. That's, I think, the first thing. And consultancies and other companies as well need to adapt to it. And I think the second thing, also very important thing, is that all information are now available, right? Like for clients, for everyone. So consultancies, it was previously the thing, they had their frameworks, they had their methods, and so they need to change. And I think they need to change to a more asset-based consultancy, where consultancies also create their own processes, their own products and own services on top of their normal approach. So I think that there are two things from my side.
I would add, maybe more specifically, when we go on our daily work, when we work with our customers, we see that there's really a growing need also for more operative hands-on support and implementation strength. So the customers do not only want that classical strategic and methodological part of consulting, where you have slides and then can go to a internal stakeholder journey, but that you always also have a strong operative hands-on support. And this, I think, is becoming much more important in times of crisis, when we see budget cuts all over the place, and especially in innovation, right? So we see that a lot of firms are struggling. They do not have budget. They also do not have enough headcount to really try new ideas and validate them. So it was also a trigger for us, thinking about how can we bring in a strong focus and a very quick and fast value creation.
All right, that's really interesting. So it's back to getting hands dirty again, not being on a too high level, creating frameworks and processes, but also execution. And Jennifer, as you said, productive consulting and includes some execution parts in there as well. Okay, that's cool. Now, on top of that, I heard the term collaboration is the new competition quite a few times recently. And it also came up in one of our previous episodes with McDonald's and Audi. So, and the statement refers to leaders and organizations acknowledging that even their best individual efforts cannot stack up anymore against today's complex and interconnected problems. One example of this might be innovating along or across the supply chain. You cannot do this alone anymore. You need to work with partners and suppliers, and potentially their second, third, fourth level of partners, depending on how the supply chain is set up. So how do you approach that new normal, and what role does partnering play in your concept?
Yeah, Christo, we totally agree with this. And this is also something we see in our daily work, that you also have mentioned, that especially when you're working with new business models, there are more and more ecosystems needed. Firms realize that they cannot offer what is needed on the market just by themselves. So they need a strong partnering approach, and we see them everywhere, right? In the automotive sector, for example, in autonomous driving, in a software-defined vehicle area, for example, or in consulting, as we are talking about today. And our approach, our view is that apart from, of course, partnering to create a win-win situation, it's also to build up a long-term relationship, to bring some stability into the game, to offer our customers really a stable value proposition and experience, so that they, on their side, do not have to hop from one partner to another, but that they know that they can rely on us, and that they know what they have if they work with us together.
Yeah, and I would like to add something. I think that's a really good point, this long-term view, because I think we said when we talked about it, I think it was a few weeks ago, we had that topic with another colleague, and they also said like a partnership tourism, and we don't want to do that. So yeah, and I think it's also important maybe to say what it's not, a partnership. So I think it's also important that we don't want to do everything. So we say we partner up to do a specific thing. And not to do everything in the supply chain, but to incorporate really the experts for it, and the experts that complement each other. I think that's important as well.
Yeah, I think so. That's a fair point. Okay, now these are the benefits. Can you also talk about some of the challenges you face with the partnering approach?
I think one of the challenges, it's right in the beginning, actually, when you are searching for the right partner to partner with. And I think it's that you have to check whether you have the same values and also the same understanding of specific terms and the topics you're working with the client. Because what I noticed is that, for example, when you say a buzzword like agile or business model innovation, like different companies and also different people, I mean, we're all individuals, have different opinions about it. And that's why I think it's a challenge, and also on the other hand very important to sort that out right in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think I can add, like, if it's on the one hand the alignment of terms and the content, but on the other, like in our case, also the alignment of processes, right? So we as Bosch, for example, are a very big ship with complicated processes sometimes, and like the digetiers are a smaller consultancy. And so kind of need to bring that together. When we started our partnership, it was like we were all very motivated and we wanted to bring things forward very quickly. But then we're sometimes slowed down by kind of the administrative processes in the back, especially from the Bosch side. Maybe. So that is one thing.
Yeah.
And then I would say another perspective on the customer side. When we're talking to customers, it's sometimes that we get the question, well, can I ask you something provocative? So why do you as Bosch need a partner? Can't you do it all by yourself? And we say, well, we are a big company with a broad know-how and network, but we cannot do everything on our own. And I think this is also kind of a mindset change also for us within Bosch, that there are more and more people really realizing that this not invented here syndrome, that they kind of overcome it and say, well, there's really a benefit if we partner with other firms to really get the best value creation and the best additional value for our customers.
Honestly, the not invented here syndrome is sometimes quite massive. Do you have any ideas or approaches on how to overcome that? How can you overcome the syndrome with, when you work with the different teams that actually, could benefit from that, but are exposed to that syndrome?
Well, of course, it's challenging. And of course, it's not something you can solve from one day to the other, right? It's a mindset change in the organization. But like, for example, at Bosch, we have an open innovation initiative, which is growing stronger and stronger, which is communicating, which is really making aware all our employees what the benefits are of some partnership, of collaboration. And then I think it just needs to sink in, and you have to kind of tell the story all over again, which is the same in business model innovation, by the way. Different KPIs, different methods, different processes. It's just something that, and you cannot blame like a Bosch employee because they have been doing the other way their whole life, right? And they learn something new, so it takes a little bit of time. But I think with patience and just a repetition and some new minds that are fresh minds that are also coming to the company, I think we have already moved a little bit ahead in that.
And I think that's also a syndrome also on the client side, because as a consultant, I see it also on the client side, that sometimes they say then, okay, for this specific matter, we want you and we want you to support us. But this thing we want to do on our own, and we want to, I don't know, inform everyone that we did that and spread the message. So I think it's also, also on the client side.
Yeah, very much agreed. So could we say that one of the keys to unlock this is clear, concise, repeated communication? Is that fair to say? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is one thing. And then, I mean, we can add to what we just mentioned before to the challenges, right? Like for the administrative processes, it's more like also patience again, also a little bit planning ahead. Like we are no newbies at Bosch. We kind of know how to play the system. So we know when there's a project coming that we really start early with these processes. And on the customer side, what I just talked about also, about the value of our partnership, explaining this to the customers. It's also very important that we have an internal preparation before, right? That we, with our partner, talk very clearly about what is the value for one side, what's the value for the other side, and what's the value for the customer. And if we are very clear on that, we can also communicate that very clearly to the customer.
Yeah. Clarity. This is great advice. Okay. Now, before we dive deeper into the partnership, I would love to play a quick game, and the game is called Either Or. It's a game of choice. So the rules are pretty simple. I mean, really simple. I just give you two options. You choose one of the options, and then spend one sentence each to briefly explain your choice. Okay, and Jennifer, we will start with you. It's about vacation. Ocean view or mountain view?
Oh, I hate that. I think now the latter, ocean view, because now in Munich I have a lot of mountains and I really need some ocean time, some wind, sea, and just the sun.
All right, makes perfect sense. Okay, Eva, what would you go either for? Would you go for a fully fledged full day workshop or a series of smaller, more frequent sessions?
I would rather go for smaller sessions, depending on if it's virtual or face-to-face, by the way. If it's face-to-face, I would take a full day workshop because you can interact a lot and you have some coffee breaks where you can chat also a little bit offsite. If it's virtual, I would prefer the smaller ones.
Understood. All right, that's fair. Now, Jennifer, would you either work 100% on a remote island, like a really far out island from now on, or 100% in an office building, and why so?
I think then actually the office building, although digetiers is a remote first company, but I think I would really miss the people around me because at digetiers we still meet each other. We have our next team meeting, we go to a spa hotel and we do some strategy workshops and some work. But definitely then the office, because I would really miss like just the communication, the cooperation, and I believe that better things grow out of it if you see each other. Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. And finally, Eva, if I would ask you, where would you be found more often? In a trendy restaurant or in a village pub?
It would, I think, more be a village pub where we can maybe be a little bit loose, a little bit more innovative, maybe also a little bit more relaxing.
Very cool. Great choice. All right. Now back to consulting and back to the partnership. So we had a discussion on trends, benefits, challenges. So now let's dive deeper into the partnership. Can you talk to how your partnership looks in detail? What are some of its characteristics?
Yeah, sure. So if we start with what we do, what we're offering, our value proposition is that we think that our formula of success is exactly the combination that we talked about earlier about the classical strategy consulting combined with the operative work, really hands-on work. And we think that we bring everything to the table. Like Bosch has this century-long deep know-how experience, also this deep operative know-how and work. And the digetiers, on the other hand, are a small, agile company with a big digital know-how and a fast implementation ability. And if you pair this, I think we can just create the biggest customer value. And maybe just to add a little bit from the Bosch side, we are coming from, sorry, we are coming from an internal consultancy. So we have many years of experience in internal consulting. And the thing with internal consulting is that you can always be reached, right? So also if a project is finished, a colleague can always just call you and complain if he needs to. And this is why we always had our highest quality standards, right? So because we wanted to avoid exactly this. And this is something that we transfer also to our external clients, of course, this high quality standard. And then the other aspect to that is that we do not stop at slides. Because that's just basically also not what we're doing within Bosch, right? We really do hands-on operative work, and that's what we want to bring to our clients as well.
Yeah, and I think on top of that also, we spoke earlier about the values and what we each of us understands under like in terms of different topics. And I think that's really important because one thing is, for example, transparency, which really also characterizes our partnership. And I really like it that we work together because we also share, for example, list of clients. I mean, not like the whole thing, because obviously we do projects on our own as well. But we share it and we work together on slides and we work together in the projects, not only on those slides. And I think that's really something that is really important. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So you can bring in good things from both worlds, corporate and non-corporate. Now, on tasks and responsibilities, how do you clearly delineate tasks and responsibilities between the partners?
So actually, we really depends on the client because it really depends on the needs of the client, and then we go for the thing that is, or the like how, or we go for the the strategy or the process that is best for the client, and but actually we do both. So. We really see us also in the projects at the clients in the tandem, for example, and also work there. Then, of course, we have maybe different foci. For example, I don't know, one project about a smart factory, then it was more on the side of Bosch to bring in another expert that has really this industry knowledge. But and maybe a little bit more from the digetiers side, in terms of the strategic direction. So we really... do it like that. And I also think that in terms of customer acquisition, it's kind of equal because, and that's, I think, an interesting fact because, some projects like come from Bosch and some from digetiers. So we both, do it like both ways.
Yeah. And then maybe to add, when it just comes to the operative normal daily work, it's that we work together on slides, on customer projects, and we share our tasks, right? We sit together in remote meetings, weekly meetings, but it's also the case that when there's someone very busy with another project, the other one just jumps in and does a little bit more. So it's a very collaborative way of working, I would say.
Yeah, understood. And on the communication aspect, do you communicate your value proposition and the solutions you offer as if it comes from one single source? Or are you approaching this more transparently, saying that at least two companies are involved? These are the benefits of having both all together. And how does sourcing work? Do your clients like to have just one contractor or multiple ones? How does that work?
So it also depends on the client, but I mean, our preferred way is actually one face to the customer. So we really try, for example, when we start the conversations with the clients, that we say, okay, this is what Bosch can offer, this is what digetiers can offer, but this is what we can do together. And for each client, we really work it out what this like sweet spot is. And then we really try to offer it in a joint way, but it really depends. We had it now in the commercial terms, for example, that we did it then separately because it was just easier. So we do it really both ways. And I think to do that, it's really important, to trust each other and to have this transparent communication because otherwise it's not possible. Yeah.
But maybe, Chris, to add to your question, we are always honest to what we bring on the tables, what Bosch brings on the table, what digetier does. So always this, what is the value that our strength from Bosch and what's the digetier strength? So we are very transparent in the customer context. And I think that's also something the customer really appreciates. and understands as well. Yeah.
All right, great. Now let's get real. Can you give us a project example of your work? Obviously, not sharing something confidential.
I cannot share the name, but I can say which industry. So it's an automotive OEM, for example. And I think that's also very important or very interesting that we focus on clients that we both can handle or that we both have something to offer. So it's mainly in the industry section. And that was one automotive client, and we did an agile project. And this one came more from digetiers, and we needed really an expert in the field of agile transformation who really did it like the day by day and who did the transformation like the past 5 or 10 years at least. And this was really a success. So that's one. And maybe another one, it's a little bit newer, so we are right in the middle of it. It's also with a industry client, but it's a mid-sized company. And they are more hardware focused, and their business model is as well. So they wanted to change their business model, or at least wanted to develop some options for them for more digital business models. And that's what we're doing with them together. And that's also a lot of fun, I would say.
And I think to add to what Jennifer just said, to the last project, it's also just to give you an example, what we bring to the table, Bosch, and what can digetiers bring to the table, is that we as Bosch bring in our innovation know-how. We use our Bosch innovation framework on how to test new ideas, how to build them up. But what is not our strength so far is to develop MVPs and prototype very quickly, right? And at this part, digetiers jumps in where they say, hey, we can do this very quickly in a very lean way. And so we can really combine those strengths and create the biggest value for the customer.
Got it. Okay, that's the tandem you've been talking about. Great. Okay, now finally, let's try to summarize all of this into some actionable recommendations. So my question to you is, in your opinion, what are the most important success factors and maybe, 3 recommendations from your partnering approach that you would like to give to others?
So it would be for me honesty and transparency. That's what also Jennifer just mentioned, that we're really transparent in who the client list and who are we talking to, so that you can really build up a trust foundation. And then it's what we already talked about, the delineation of tasks, the clear delineation, so who does what, that needs to be clear. And then maybe on the softer side, it's also you have to have fun, and it kind of has to match. So when we met for the first time, it was pretty clear, pretty soon, that we are kind of on the same value base, that we share the same values, and that we also have the same perspectives about how do we want to treat our clients, and how do we work. Our working style was a kind of the same or similar. So this is all a very good base, a foundation for building up a successful partnership.
And maybe in addition, just a small thing, we also had the same outcome in mind. So what Eva told us previously, this implementation focus or this outcome drivenness, that we don't only want to produce slides, but we are rather focused on real outcomes and long-lasting outcomes for the client. And because what we also saw is that a lot of consultancies or companies write it then on their website first, but they don't do any projects. And we kind of do it the other way around. We just do it first, learn from it, iterate a little bit, and then maybe put it somewhere. But I think that's also something we can share.
Okay, that's great advice. So we are close to the end of this episode, but before, I need to get your rockstar moments. So Jennifer, you go first. Looking back on your professional career, what would you say was your greatest innovation rockstar moment so far?
Innovation rockstar moment. I think it was a lot of rock stars, actually, because When I think about it, it was, so not me, but a lot of other rock stars. I think it was like, some years ago at a client, and we had like a yearly kickoff in January. And they wanted to do a kickoff for all the C-level people. And it was like 20 C-level people from different business units. And until this point, they thought design thinking, innovative methods, it's only putting nice, colorful Post-it somewhere. And they didn't really grasp it what it really was. And in that workshop, we managed within 1.5 days, it was more 1 day, to create, to start with a problem and to create a whole virtual reality app, a prototype of it, and with those C-levels, so there were no other people, and they did it. And I think it was, for me, those little rock stars, because I could really see the change in their minds. And I think that was the greatest thing for me.
Yeah, that's a great moment. Thanks. Eva, what about you? What is your innovation rockstar moment?
I think my innovation rockstar moment was when we were validating a lot of ideas, right? And we had 24 startup teams at that time that were testing their ideas on the market. And then at the end of that 8 weeks, 12 teams came up on stage and they said they are a no-go. So meaning they will not go on with the idea because they have just no evidence from the market that their idea will be successful in the future. And those ideas, they got, those no-go decisions, they got much more applause from the audience than the actual go ones. And for me, this is a rockstar moment because it indicates a mindset change in the organization. Right, that you celebrate failure, that you celebrate not failure specifically, but also stopping projects very early and putting the resources into new ideas. So that was my rockstar moment.
Fantastic. That all sounds great. And, recently someone told me, maybe it's not about fail fast, fail early, but fail fast, fix fast. So maybe we can discuss this in an upcoming episode as well. But that's it for the moment. With this, we wrap up this episode. Eva, Jennifer, thanks for the great conversation.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Chris.
It was very fun.
All right. And to everybody listening or watching, if you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and share the podcast with whomever you want. And if you want to get in touch, simply shoot us a message at info@innovationrockstars.show. Now that's it. Thanks for your time. See you in the next episode. Take care and bye-bye.
These were Innovation Rockstars Dr. Eva Mitterreiter from Bosch and Jennifer Graf from digetiers on partnering for innovation. If you would like to give us feedback on this episode or know someone, perhaps yourself, who also has some thrilling stories or insights to share from the world of corporate innovation, just shoot us a note at info@innovationrockstars.show. If you like the show, then leave us a rating and recommend it to others. For more inspiring innovation stories, visit our website at www.innovationrockstars.show or browse through our Innovation Rockstars channel on all major podcast platforms.